Kimmy, and I'm here with my co-host Ryan.
Hey guys, welcome back to Aloreing, our folklore podcast, where we tell you the stories and legends of different lore from around the world.
And Ryan, can you tell me what you found Aloreing this
Yeah,
week?
so your boy's a bit chunky, but getting less chunky,
Ooh, ooh.
and I'm down like 20 pounds.
Oh, that's a
So,
lot. That's
yeah,
crazy
it's
impressive. Good for
it's quite a
you.
bit. I'm feeling so much better
Mhm. Do,
about everything. So, yeah.
do, do you not feel as tired throughout the day and stuff? Like you got a little bit more energy?
Yeah, I'm only drinking like a grande coffee instead of a venti in the morning. So,
Yay! Progress is progress.
yeah. But I feel so much better.
Hell yeah. Well, congrats. That's so good. I
Thank
know
you.
you've been working. We have to schedule around Ryan's personal training sometimes.
That'll be our next Patreon exclusive. Is come to the gym while I tell you about folklore.
Can you do like workouts? Like Sasquatch squatches? I don't know. What else is
Hell yeah, yeah.
uh
I'll do a
Mothman
Sasquatch hunter.
deadlifts?
Yeah,
That would be amazing. I'd love that.
yeah. What did you find alluring this week?
Well, I have been stuck to a bed for the past week with Edgar because
Yeah.
Edgar got sick and he was like, I don't feel too good, Chief. And I was like, oh no. And it was just like being in a little boat out to sea and watching the storm come for me, knowing I can't do anything.
Yep.
So we both got sick. We're finally feeling decent. I'm just tired. I don't know. I was so happy just to be able to get up and like go to work today.
Yeah.
I don't know. So if I am out of it, you guys, I am on some Dayquil. It's 8 at night, and life is fucking amazing. So,
Isn't that always so weird? Like, no one wants to go to work until you're sick, and then you're like, oh man, I want nothing more than to just go to work right now.
just get me
Like,
out of this bed prison.
yeah, nothing makes you want to go to work more than being stuck in bed. When I had like my back problem, like,
Oh
what was it, like
yeah.
3 weeks ago, when I was literally couldn't get out of bed, like, oh man, all I wanted to do was go to work. Like,
I know. I never have the desire to run, and I was like, oh, that sounds so lovely. And I'm
right? Yeah.
like, I don't know. I'm over it. I'm glad. I'm feeling better. We've just been watching a
Yeah.
lot of Harry Potter, and that's been pretty fun.
There you go.
I don't know. I guess my alluring thing is I didn't realize how annoying Draco Malfoy was until I
Yeah.
rewatched the series. And it made Hermione
Right.
punching him so much more satisfying.
Well, speaking of being stuck in bed, what?
Oh,
That's a good one. What?
that
What?
was a good
What are
one.
we talking about this week?
Oh, listen, you guys. This week's folklore. I wrote these notes when I was not sick, and then I refined them when I was sick. So this is going to be a great, good old time. So if you have a
Hmm.
drink now, I suggest you pour it. And if you have a Jesus candle at hand, you should light it, because
All
that's what
lighter.
I'm going to do. Let's see if we get some.
We got us not only a long one, but a spooky one today.
We're back. We did a joyful one, so now we're back to spooky. Because
Hmm.
oh,
Yeah,
how
we've
we
we've had too many nice episodes in a row that didn't involve like murder and like worst we had was they got turned into frogs, and that was,
yeah, that could be the best thing that can happen in this case. So let's get started. Okay. Before you go to sleep tonight, it may be best to hang up some hollowed stones by your bedpost. There is a creature that can lurk into your home and find its way into you or even your pet's dreamland. And the scariest part, you probably have already encountered this creature. It is known for resting upon your chest at night and will have your blissful dreams become dark, unsettling and will cause you to wake in a panic. These demonic creatures do not care about your gender or if you're human or animal. It is known to ruin dreams and to feed off the fear that comes from them. This week we will be talking about maras or mares, also commonly known as nightmare, and night hags. These nightmare demons have ancient origins and are known around the world in mythology and folklore. The majority of information I found about these creatures comes from, surprisingly, Norse mythology. So we'll be touching a bit of Germanic, Old English, and Slavic lore as well. So I thought these were going to be like purely German folklore creatures, but
Yeah.
it was all Norse stuff I found.
Yeah. Funny, I don't know, you may discuss this in your background, but when I was looking, there's actually like an incredibly similar legend in like Brazil too. I don't know.
I'm not talking about that. You should.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that at the end.
Okay, I was like, can you bring that up, because
Yeah.
the half of me that's Brazilian did not find that, and that's disappointing to myself.
Yeah.
My mother's turning in her bed right now. I just know she is. Okay, so let's talk about what they are. So mares typically appear as a female in human form, but they are known to appear as a male, an animal, or a thing from time to time. In human form, the mare can either be a beautiful young woman or an ugly old hag with long arms, fingernails, and breasts. In human form, she will have fur, be a redhead, or be missing some natural hair. So like no beard, no armpit, no pubic hair, that kind of thing, which is kind of interesting. And a lot of description also say they kind of have like an elf-like appearance to them. So I was like, oh, that makes them a little bit more unsettling. And then in animal form, the mare typically takes on the appearance of a cat. When not a cat, they will appear as a fluffy creature. Slavic lore also says they can turn into different types of witches' familiars, such as frogs, toads, horses, cats, dogs, bees, birds, and wasps. And finally, when they change into an object or a thing, they can appear as a feather, a ball of tangles, or a grip. So they're a little all over the place in appearance.
Yeah. I noticed in a lot of pictures when I was looking at information for them, it had horses in them.
Yes.
And like horses isn't a female horse called a mare, or is that a baby horse? Yeah. Is that why they're called mares? Is because they can turn into horses?
Ding. Well, ding, ding, ding-ish, kind of. I would give you that point if I was like a teacher grading your essay.
Yeah.
But I would be a terrible teacher, so take that as you will. So I'll kind of get into that in a second.
All right, cool.
But you are on the right track, so just like hold up for un momento.
All right.
So let me tell you a little about these creatures' abilities. They're known for creating nightmares, giving people or animals a sense of dread when they wake, and their ability to send their soul. Ooh. So Mara is referred as a soul leaving the body, or the body turning into smoke. So the body will lie in place during the night as if the person is dead. Or the body turns to smoke and the clothes of the person will stay intact as if the body is still there. This has also been referred to as soul jumping. So when a mare finds a victim, they will quote unquote ride their chest. And I'm saying quote unquote ride their chest because as we get into this lore, there's like some like sexy stuff with it. But like this is the part that isn't sexy, but I just think that terminology is very deceiving.
Succubus is coming up.
Yep. So that's why I'm going to be like quote unquote ride its chest. So because there's no like non-sexy way to say that, I guess. Maybe as like an old lady voice. Ride its chest. Perfect. That's how I'm doing it from now. Okay. So that is when the mare will sit upon the victim's chest. Nothing sexy, and it results in them feeling paralyzed and smothered. Some lore even suggests that the mare rides their victims to death, but it always after they have visited their victim a few times in a row. So it only happens at night. They'll sit on their chest and they suffocate them. There are less vicious maras that are supposedly so lonely that they're just looking for love and comfort. So still not sexy time, but they will sit upon the victim's chest and be close to their heart to feel the comfort of them. So like they feel like there's another person with them.
That's kind of cute.
Yep, hold on to that for the rest of the episode. Mares are also known for having the ability to suck blood from their victims or give a marksy. Do you want to know what a marksy is?
I'd love to know what a marksy is.
A marksy is known as a kiss of the mare, which means you'd wake up with blisters or marks around your mouth, aka you get mouth herpes from these little nightmare demons.
That's how they explained cold sores back in.
They're like, must have been a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
And then, so it's important to know that mares don't just attack humans, but your pet can be visited by one, and typically they go after horses. So, I was like, is he good?
Yeah, he's good.
Oh, I get it now. Wow, that was, you guys, I want so much medicine. Pablo's even like, wow, Kim, I can hear him slow clapping with his tail. So if you look on our lovely slideshow, here's a terrifying picture of a close-up. I'm trying to remember the name of the painting, but I really have sick brain. But this is one of the horses from it. So they're known to attack horses, and you can see all these lovely images by going to our Patreon, Aloreing.com. No, wait, patreon.com/Aloreing. I'm doing great today. Woo! So, are you wondering why they attack horses?
I am.
So, oh my gosh, this one. There's a belief that mare are female because they attack almost exclusively men. And at the time, horses were a sign of the male owner's manhood. So, to attack the owner's horse was a direct attack on his masculinity. For the Croats, Mora means nightmare, but it was also a dark spirit form or a succubus who visited men in their dreams to torture them with desire. The belief being that the sleeping men had their hair deliberately entangled by these female spirits who left them with mare locks, mare braids, or mare tangles, aka bedhead that was almost impossible to brush out the next day.
That's great. So just based off of that paragraph, due to them attacking men, I'm going to assume you're going to put this lawful good.
I may have thought of that at this point in my notes, but I didn't. So
I'm proud of you. We'll see when we get to that slide.
We'll see. We're not just talking about succubus. Night hags are in this. I don't think night hags are as cute.
Yeah, we gotta combine them all. Yeah.
You know, like there's a difference between a night hag and like the succubus Catherine from that video game. Okay, like I know which one I'd pick in a heartbeat, and I know which one I'd be like, this is a no for me.
Yeah.
I don't even like blondes, and I'd go for her in the game too. I know what I'm about. Anyway, okay, where was I? Okay, so, oh, thank you so much. So, personality. Now, knowing that these creatures bring nothing but dread, do you think that they're evil, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm gonna say so far.
It depends.
Oh. Ooh. On what?
So, the doubt in your voice. So, a mare is a manifestation of one's soul. If a person is evil and they are purposely sending out their soul to do evil deeds, the mare is going to be bad. But if someone is unaware that they're doing it, they can be a mare. So someone can be a mare and be unaware that they're soul jumping. So they may feel tired and ill, and when they experience the soul jumping, they may think they're sleepwalking or they're just zoned out of it. Plus, when a mare attacks somebody, their body becomes very still, even in the middle of their current activity. There's an account from Belgium in which a girl worked for a bakery, and while she was kneading dough, she suddenly stopped. Miles away, someone familiar to her was ridden by a mare. Ooh. So they can be non-malicious. They just don't know that they're doing it.
So the girl in the bakery was the mayor?
Yeah, so her soul was the mayor. So soul
Oh, I see.
jumping. So like I'll like clarify for everyone so everyone's like on the same page. So you and your soul in this like concept of this folklore are two different things. So if you're sleeping and you're out of it, or if you want to send your soul to do evil deeds, your soul will leave your body, and that is what the mare is, and that's what sits upon people's
Gotcha.
chests and give them nightmares.
Okay. So my soul could be out there somewhere right now giving like my roommate nightmares, even though I'm
Right,
here
but you
recording a
would be
podcast.
right, but you would be completely still when it's doing that, because for your
So if
soul
I
to leave your
zone
body,
out in
you
the
have
middle
to
of
be
this
still.
episode,
If his eyes just go really big, there it is. He's mirror riding someone.
oh, I did it.
I
Pablo
would have
sneezed
loved.
right as I did it. I'm sorry for haunting you.
I was like, was it Pablo you haunted? He was like, bro, what the
No.
hell? Okay, so now that you know all of this stuff, I bet you're wondering, how can someone become a mayor?
Yeah.
So there's a few different ways. Woo! And I hate half of them. So let's just dive into this joyful vat of chaos and dysfunction. So if a female mother uses Svartekonst, Svartekonst, which is black arts to ease pain, labor pains, their child can become a mayor. So now, buckle up because I hated this. And if you're wondering what this black arts is, a mother would do one of the following: trigger to sad horse baby stuff. Fast forward 15 seconds.
Oh no.
Cool. So they would crawl through the amnido sac of a fowl, and a fowl, I didn't know, is a young horse. Or they take it over her head 3 times, or they would crawl through the skin of a fallow 3 times. This was known to relieve labor pains, but curse the child to become a mare if she was female. If a boy, however, and she performed this, he would become a varulvi, which is a werewolf, which is considered a male version of a mare, which I thought was
Oh.
super interesting. So,
I didn't
you're
think
not
that's
safe.
what werewolves were.
Yeah, Twilight has a way different look on it now.
Yeah.
So, just remember
King
that.
Jacob just got a little darker.
Yeah. Oh, that's so much worse. I'm not even going to say that. Okay. So, next one is to be cursed. So, in southern parts of Sweden, many people are believed to be cursed by people saying, go mare night after night. So, someone will perform the curse saying, have so and so go mare. And then that's how that curse starts, which seems really simple and like a very, I don't know, what's the word? Like too common for people to use. I was trying to look up more about it, but I feel like there's like something missing in that spell.
Yeah.
It seems too easy. I don't know. If I could just be like, Ryan, go mare, like, and you're a mare. I don't know. The next one is if you are a woman, don't get married. Some lore suggests that mares are spirits of an unmarried woman or maiden, dead or alive. It also says that women search for lovely or sexy time desires, which is why they only attack men. So at the time, the idea of a sexual female in the past gender roles was blasphemous, since men were supposed to be the ones to take action and not women. Lore tells of mare being succubus creatures attacking a man's dominance and leaving him powerful and weak. So it just like, it keeps going back to that in all my research, which I just thought was like super interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't know. After seeing the woman from Resident Evil, what's her name? Like, more power to you.
Big vampire lady.
You big vampire lady. I'm so tired, I can't even remember her name. You guys know what I'm talking about. There's some people
I haven't
like
played it yet.
you.
I've only seen the memes.
Oh my goodness, it's intense. I could only watch it
Yeah,
because it was a little much for me. Good game
yeah,
though. Great
yeah.
game.
I'm sure it was.
Keep it up. Hey, Resident Evil, if you ever want to put us in your video games, we would be so for that.
I'd be so happy. I've always wanted to
Please.
be in. That's one of my life goals is to be like motion captured into a video game.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Anyway, I'm just putting that out there in the universe if you guys ever hear it. Just saying. Okay, and then the last two I have is have a cat jump over an unbaptized child, because the
Of
Catholics gotta
course.
have a
Yeah.
say,
Hmm.
and have a child born between the hours of midnight and 1 a.m.
Classic. Gotta
So
hold that baby in until 1:01 a.m. Come on.
hopefully your pelvic floor can handle it, you guys.
That's
Just
why we squat.
that's why we squat. That's why we do Sasquatches on the
Yep.
weekends, you guys.
Exactly. Sasquatches.
Oh my god. Okay, so now that you know what a mare is, I want to tell you a little bit about their history. So, since people have been experiencing strong, frightening emotions while dreaming for all of time, there's no way to pinpoint the origins of when these creatures came to be. But the popularity of Holt stones does give us some written account of when people were dealing with mares on a regular basis and how nightmares became a common explanation for them. So, if you click to the next slide, I have a picture of what these hollowed stones look like. Look
I've
at how
seen those
cute.
before.
Yeah. So during the 15th century, people used hollowed stones as a charm against nightmares. It is believed that if the hollowed stone, sometimes referred to as a hag stone, were hung on the bedpost, it would deter multiple demons, including night hag, nightmares, or succubus. We
So it's
also
like
know
a
that,
European version of the dream catcher, kind of.
yeah,
Almost.
that's a really good way to look at it. I know like dream catchers from how I grew up, they're it's like very spiritual and like if you get
Mm-hmm.
one, you want someone that's part of the reservation to make it for you. Because I used to have one in Arizona, but I've only ever had it because of that. But these like you can do yourself, you know.
Yeah.
Like dream catchers, you want to get it from someone
Yeah.
and it's
Not
like a
the
genuine
not the
gift.
dollar store.
No, you don't want the dollar. Don't get dollar store dream catchers, you guys. Like that's not no bueno. But you
But
can
you
go get
can,
hollowed
yeah,
rocks
that's what I'm gonna
anywhere you
say.
want.
Get
That's
some
all
dollar
you.
store string,
Hell
put it
yeah,
through some hollow rocks, good to go.
$2 craft night, and you know what? You're feeling extra special. Throw in $5 wines. You have a $7
Ooh,
evening right there.
$7 evening. I like it.
And then we know there are many recorded reports of nightmares around in Belgium, the Netherlands, Germany, Scandinavia, and Great Britain dating back hundreds of years. So, in origin, the Old English word for incubus was mare, which is related to the German word for mar, or the nightmare. The word mare derived from a mythological goblin or demon known for tormenting sleepers to have them experience terrifying dreams. In Old German, the word nightmare is Nachtmar, and it translates to an evil demon or spirit that rides on the chest of a sleeper, similar to an incubus or succubus. And then this is the little horse thing that you were asking about earlier. Because
Yeah,
when you do Google this, you get a lot of picture of horses. And I
a
was never a
lot.
horse girl, if that
Yeah.
surprises any of you, because the horses did not like me growing up. And I learned my place real fast with them.
Me
I'm like,
either.
I think they knew I liked dolphins, and they're like, this is a fish bitch. And like, because I grew up, I had family with farm, you know? So I just grew up
Yeah.
with that, and I'm just, nope, I was never a farm animal girl.
Yeah, my best friend, like, he does rodeos and all that fun stuff, and like, so he, growing up, he'd be like, you want to like ride the horse, and it would buck me off, it
Yep.
would like, and I'd always be like, no, horses are terrible, and they're like, what? No. And so I'm glad I'm
Oh,
not alone, because every other person I've met that I say horses are terrible, they disagree with me, so I'm
it's
glad I'm
really
learning this about you.
no, it's really funny because my mom is a very she like grew up she grew up in Brazil, city girl,
Hmm.
son like kind of thing, but she is very like has the cowboy hat and loves country, and her dream is
Yeah.
to have a farm, you know. And then she had me, and she threw me in like middle of Utah fucking county where that's all I saw. And I'm like, give
Yeah.
me a city and a beer because I
Yeah.
can't do this. I'm like, there's no dolphins, there's no ocean. I do
Yeah.
not feel okay. Uh, anyway, yeah, horses are like hit or miss for me. I like
Yeah.
goats though. Goats are pretty cool, but
Mules and donkeys, love them.
yeah.
When we would go to like ride, like do like the trail rides, 100% of the time I would try and get the mule. Mules, love them. They
That's
just do
adorable.
their thing. They don't run. They just walk. You can't make them run. Can't make them do
Yeah.
anything.
Horses like smell like 1 ounce of fear and you're
Mm-hmm.
over. And I've
Start
just
shivering.
learned to respect their space. I was like, you guys do your thing,
Mm-hmm.
I'll do my
Yeah.
thing. It's just not gonna happen. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Back on track.
back on track. Don't you guys love me on what is it? NyQuil? Okay, so it's important to note that the term nightmare evokes from the term of a female horse, but in no way is a mare a female horse. So the name is believed to come from the feeling one had once they wake up from a nightmare. A nightmare was when the dreamer awoke, assumed they'd been riding a demonic horse, leaving the dreamer awoken, breathless, panicked, and feeling helpless. So everything you experienced getting bucked off a horse is like the feelings you get when you have a
Yeah.
nightmare, and that is the relation.
Agreed.
Oh my goodness. Oh, sorry, I'm doing so much talking in this. Okay, I'm almost done, you guys. Woo! So it also seems that the word mare, though spelt slightly different from one country to another, always consists of some type of demonic creature that leaves you panicked and feeling helpless the following day. Whether that be a succubus, incubus, demon, night hag, or witch, they will always leave the dreamer feeling uneased. Here are some interesting details I found about mares from around the world. There are so many other names that people around the world would refer to these creatures. At the end of the day, the root of whatever they're called has the term mare connected to it in some way. And it's always related to a spirit that gives nightmares to a person sitting on their chest. What was the one you were talking about in Brazil at
Oh
the
yeah, it's
top of the
called
episode?
shoot, I just had it pulled up. One sec. I'm gonna butcher this. Pisadera. Pisadera, maybe?
Yeah.
But it was essentially the same thing. It was like this like long woman with like over the top like features that had like long nails and stuff and would cause people to have like sleep paralysis and like hallucinate, and it sounds exactly like a mare. Um, there wasn't a whole lot of information on it, but it
Oh my
was
god.
but it had the same like basic steps. Like you'd see it in the corner, and then it would like get on your chest, and then like
No.
yeah,
No. Cool. Cool. Well, I'm gonna have to ask my mom about that because
yeah.
I'm curious.
I'll send you the name
Just
in
send me the name. Do not send me a link. It is too late
I'll send you
for me.
pictures and images.
I just wake up and that's the first thing I see. I'm like, ah,
Yeah.
cool. Nightmare fuel to start my day. Lovely. Well, so there's that one from Brazil. I'll have to look at more of that. That's so interesting. There was just like so many different names for these creatures, and there's so many
Yeah.
different ones around the world. So I really tried to just focus on one type that was coming up the most in research and had the most
Turns out
information.
nightmares are a very common human experience
Oh,
throughout the world, and we needed to explain it.
yep, exactly. Um, And then, so a little fun fact to sprinkle in. It's also believed that a nightmare is part of a witch's training. In Germanic context, there was a phenomenon
Mm,
that a mare referred to as a night hag or riding the witch, non-sexy, would practice out-of-body
is it?
techniques by shifting her appearance and sitting upon the chest of someone sleeping to give them nightmares. This allowed them to practice
Mm.
soul jumping.
So it's just them warming up.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like pre-ritual, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no good way to explain that. All right. Now, when I was writing these notes, I was very sick and scared. So you bet I got a handy dandy list of how you can deal with these motherfuckers. So, if you wish to have one leave you alone, you can 1. Hang hold stones above your bed. Make it a craft night for $7. Plug your keyholes or knot holes up if your door is closed, because that's how they like to get into your room, is through the little keyholes. So plug it up with little tissue paper. And the most unsettling part of that is we have some like old like key knobs in our house that we're at. And the other day I noticed they all had like tissues in them. So I was like, cool. That's going to just make my nightmare feel extra divine tonight. So awesome. And then 3, you can confuse the mare by having your bricks hung crosswise in front of your house or barn. Or you can confuse them by swapping your shoes or slippers in the front of the bed. So have it so the right and left ones switch spots. And if the shoes have laces, turn them towards the place you plan on sleeping. Because they will get onto your chest through your clothes. But if your shoes are the wrong way, they won't be able to. And then 5, sing a song involving a charm to ward off witches. For example, the verse asks the mare to count all the blades of grass to keep them occupied throughout the night. There is...
so are they not allowed to say no?
No, they gotta do it.
Like, oh, dang it, I gotta go count. 1 sec, be right back.
So you can have like a dream where it's like you're counting individual pieces of wheat, and they'll be like, before I can give him a nightmare, I gotta count all these down pieces of wheat. And
shoot,
then
foiled again.
That's all it takes. Make them do some manual labor. No one wants that. The German folklorist, I'm going to butcher that one, Franzi Flexi Adalbert Kuhn, records a West
Franz Felix Adalbert Kuhn?
Franz Felix Adalbert Kuhn, yeah.
Maybe? Feels. It's definitely Franz Felix. The rest of that is a name.
He had to put hyphens in his birth certificate to get that one through. So he has a charm or prayer to ward off Mare. Since I can't speak German as we just experienced, here is the translated version. I'll do it as like an old lady to spice things up. Ooh. So, here I am, lying down to sleep. No nightmare shall plague me until they have swung through all the waters that flow upon the earth, and counted all stars that appear in the skies. Thus help me God, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Amen. There you go. That's all it takes to get rid of a mare. You gotta pray. That's how the Catholics get you. Yeah. Hang a mistletoe under the roof or above the bed. Mistletoe is referred to as the mare twig in Dutch due to being a popular way to rid these spirits. And that's really cute. And it also relates to this one where hang some type of pentagram symbol in your bedroom to ward off the evil spirits. That's why you see mistletoes so often around Christmas, and it's been adopted in...
so you can give your sleep paralysis demon a little kiss.
Yep. You could be like, not tonight.
Like, uh-oh, look up. There's a mistletoe.
That's how you get the Mars keys. That's what they're called.
So do you think that prayer works since you said it in English, or do you have to say it in the original German?
That's a fair point. I don't know. I feel like prayer only works in Latin though, and I can't speak Latin. So maybe it's just how much heart you put into it, or how much you truly care. Or maybe it just depends on the mare. Because listen, if the mare can't speak German but speaks English, then you want to do an English prayer, right? So I feel
we'll throw in the German somewhere here, just in case. Mom, I'm gonna need you again this episode. In case.
I just have to say, I'm so happy we just happen to have everyone in our life surrounding us speak different languages.
Right? Oh, it's so helpful.
Because I'll be like, oh, I can just ask my friend about this one. Oh, I can ask my
Mm-hmm.
other friend. Oh, I can have Edgar. Oh, he has his mom. Oh, I have my mom. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, we don't know shit, but at
Yeah.
least we have all the
But
races.
between the two of us, we got every language covered.
We're good.
Mm-hmm.
We got this. All right. Okay. Let me tell you how you can capture one of these bad boys. So, if you're feeling extra brave or reckless, or a little bit of both, have a friend sit in your room as you lay to rest, and once the mare comes in through the keyhole, have them plug it up to capture them. In lore, mares are typically considered beautiful women, and this is how many men would capture beautiful wives. But as soon as the keyhole was unplugged, she would escape.
So they're only married as long as the keyhole is
Yep.
filled?
Yep. So you can
And
open the door, but they can only leave how they enter.
uh-huh.
So a
And
lot of
she's
them
not
would.
able to unplug
No,
the keyhole, I assume.
no, because a woman being a sexual deviant or
Yeah.
having consent isn't something we find in
No. Yeah,
past
that's
law.
yeah, there's not a whole lot of that in folklore.
Yeah, so that's how like guys would capture like pretty wives. I don't know.
Makes a lot of sense.
The more I read folklore, the more it's like, here's how to capture a wife. I was like, maybe you guys are all doing it wrong.
I mean, you see a lot of tens married to like fours, so it's starting to make sense.
There's a pattern, and like
Yeah.
all the dots are connecting.
You're like, oh
Next time
my
you're out with
god.
your friends, you'll be out with that one couple where the girl is just ridiculously hot and the guy's just like a
Oh, you're gonna be like,
three. And you're gonna be like,
you need me to unplug a keyhole for you? Or like,
yeah,
you okay?
does the term mare mean anything to
Yeah.
you? Anything at all?
How do you feel about mistletoes? No.
There you go. And then the next one, I'll tell you how you can hurt one.
No.
So we're just progressing in the list. So hang a scythe on the wall in the stables. If so, this is kind of confusing. If the one cursed to become a mare is also one that tries to protect the horses, he will end up dead in the morning
Oh.
because his body is still. But
Mm-hmm.
when he's on the horse, he freaks them out, and then it will hit the person and kill them.
Okay.
So that's kind of a weird one, and this one's also weird. So, in Belgium, it is said that a woman will give you advice about holding a knife to your chest while you sleep after you have a mare visit. But if you subconsciously hold the knife pointing up instead of stabbing yourself during the night, you will wake to a mare screaming and disappearing. The next morning, you'll discover the woman who gave you the advice was actually that mare and is now injured or dead.
Oh.
So they try to do it so you kill yourself.
Yeah.
But if you're a smart peanut,
Trick ya.
subconsciously, you can kill them or hurt them and then
Okay.
figure out who it is.
So always sleep with your knives pointing out, boys.
That's exactly it. That needs to be on the shirt. Okay.
Knives
And
out.
and if you wish to break the curse, tell the mare that she is the one, the love of your life, the moment she returns from a night of riding and is back in human form. Since the mare is a single woman that needs love, and apparently the only way to stop a single woman that needs love is to tell her that you love her.
Put a ring on it.
Put a ring on it. It's fine, you guys. I'm fine. I don't feel anything hostile at all. It's all inner rage, leaking out at the seams. If you are sleeping and you feel that a mare is sitting on you, you can try putting your thumb through your hand to force it to leave. You see a lot of this when people try lucid dreaming. So when you dream, you can't. When you dream, you can put your finger through your hand, and that's how you know you're dreaming. So it like wakes you up. I don't know. I used to do I used to have really, really bad nightmares when I was a little kid. And I can still do it to this day. One day I'll have to get recorded because it's really creepy. But I used to have bad nightmares and sleep paralysis a lot. So I got so tired of like not having people wake me up because I'd have the dream where I'd be laying on bed and I'd be looking out the door and my door would open a little and I'd close my eyes and try to wake up like I'm waking up again. And then the sleep paralysis demon would step in a little closer each time. So I'd close my eyes,
Oh.
try to sleep, and then wake up, and it would be there. And it kept getting closer till it laid on me. And it was the freakiest thing ever. But I remember it got to a point where I was so tired of dealing with it, I was able to move my right arm in my sleep and pinch my left arm and force myself to wake up.
Wow.
So, if anyone knows the psychology or stuff for that, you should let me know, because I don't want to research it, because I hate this shit. Anyway, finger through your hand, or learn to pinch yourself. You could do it. I believe in you. And then when sleeping, tell the Mare you can give them a gift the next day. Say, hey, leave me alone. I'll give you a little treat tomorrow. And then you're good.
A
And
little
then,
something for you.
yeah, maybe they like sugar cookies. I don't know. It didn't say what treats they wanted, but it
Santa
just
Claus, a Mare.
stop. Don't do
Sugar
that to me.
cookies, mistletoes.
Oh no. Oh yeah, it could go
Dots
through
are
keyholes.
connecting.
Little
He-
species.
He,
Oh no.
oh god, we just figured something out. We gotta leave. Cut the episode.
You just hear jingle bells in the distance. It's like, oh shit.
Ho.
Oh,
Been a bad boy, Ryan.
I can't today. Woo, anyway. Okay, that's my nightmare demon history. I hated it. I hope you guys loved it as much as I did, because I didn't. So before we continue on to Ryan's bit, because we're only halfway through, let's tune in to our sponsors. Hey Patreons, I appreciate your patience with me being really sick.
It feels good though. Nothing like gallon of NyQuil to really make you feel alive.
I hate it. I just feel like everything tastes like cherry, and I'm over it.
Oh man.
Man, I just want mashed potatoes. I hope you guys get mashed potatoes or something you like. Anyway, let's go away.
Alrighty. Welcome back, everybody. It's time for a story. I need a little story time jingle.
You should. I'm for that. We'll figure it out.
Like something fun before. I used to watch, was it Bo Burnham? Where he's like, it's time for a story. Anyway, so turns out not a lot of stories about mares specifically, but mares cause sleep paralysis. So today we're going to hear a fun little story from Redditor Right Chris Wright called My Sleep Paralysis Demon is Actually a Pretty Chill Guy.
Okay.
There's a plot twist. He's not a chill guy.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, this actually sounds pretty nice.
All right. My first memory of sleep paralysis happened when I was 10 years old. I remember it because it was the night my parents took me to see Shrek 2 for good marks on my report card. And it was an evening show, so we got in late, and my mom tucked me straight into bed when we got home. That ages the story a little. Shrek 2.
Yeah, aren't we on Shrek 12 now or something?
Something like that, yeah. If only Right Chris Wright could have known. It was around 4 a.m. when I woke up. The lights from my alarm clock told me that much. I couldn't feel anything, not my pajamas against my skin or warmth of my head against the pillow. I could feel my arms and legs, but they felt heavy, as if a great weight was holding them down. I tried to call out, but I couldn't. My voice caught in my throat, my lips unable to move. I mustered a weak groan that sounded like a cross between a frog croak and a zombie moan, but that was it.
Okay.
I thought I was dead. That is what death feels like, being awake but unable to move or tell anyone. My mind wrestled with the idea of being placed in a coffin, unable to tell anyone I was still alive in here. Unable to move or say anything as the lid closed and they put me in the ground, still alive. My fear subsided as I felt my heart thudding in my chest in response to my near panic attack. I also became aware of my breathing, which slowed as the fear subsided. I calmed a little, thinking it was just a dream. That's when I saw him for the first time. The name, not scary, but we'll get to it. Mr. Brownstick Legs. It comes back up, don't worry. Huddled in the corner of the room by my closet. Mr. Brownstick Legs.
I went full squeaker toy for a second. Woo! Okay.
Huddled in the corner of my room by the closet, his two oversized red eyes glowed in the dark of my bedroom. His face was like a porcelain mask, white, expressionless, with no mouth or nose, only two haunting red eyes. When he stood up, his body unfolded like origami until his head reached the ceiling. His neck bent, tilting forward, as his true height was greater than the height of my room. His long black torso was covered in shimmering symbols that reflected in the red light of his glowing eyes. He stood on two spinely thin legs that disappeared into the shadows of the room.
Oh my god. I hate this so much, you guys. This is like... you gotta just keep going. Just ignore anything I say for the next...
He made no noise as he moved, seeming to glide as he hovered closer to my bed. His long arms reached down to me as I moaned through paralyzed lips. I could not scream, even though I wanted to. His fingers reaching through the darkness, down to my face, two pointed fingers touched against my eyelids, pushing them closed. I remember his fingertips feeling cool, but not cold. Even though the ends of his fingertip looked sharp, his touch was gentle. "Do not struggle, little one. Sleep, sleep," he said. His voice was so deep I could feel it in my chest when he spoke.
Oh my god.
I'm
sorry. I have to intervene. I'm losing my shit right now because this is like just like the one I would deal with, and I don't like it. The only difference is it never talked to me.
Did it come up and close your eyes with you?
I'd have like the weird sleep paralysis dream, and I think it was like a demon associated to a person I was with at the time, because like I knew that person for so long in my life. Because like as soon as that stopped, like the demon stopped. Like I haven't seen it since, but it would like come over, but it wouldn't hover, and it didn't have symbols, but it like had to like hunch down in the room, and it would always like go like over my body, and it would place a hand over my head, and it would like drag its hand over my eyes. And it was the most unsettling thing because I always like felt like it was trying to like keep me safe, which makes sense because that was like a really bad person. But like the freakiest thing is my rabbit. Like the last experiences I had with it, I had Luma at the time, and her cage was like right next to the door. And whenever it would happen at night, she would grab her cage and she'd shake it, and she'd be thumping through the night. And it like freaked me out every time. And then she'd like lay with me after, and she's not that type of rabbit. So like that's why I'm like,
that's wild,
freaking out, because I'm like,
yeah.
It's okay. I got my Jesus candle. We're fine. Everything's good.
So I did as instructed, convincing myself that it indeed was a dream. Even if it wasn't, the back of my eyelids was more reassuring than looking into those piercing red eyes and his vacant mask of a face. I closed my eyes, wanting it to be a dream, willing it to be a dream. I woke up the next morning, thankfully able to move, walk, and talk. I explained what I saw to my parents, who both agreed that it was a dream. My mom tried floating in the idea that something from Shrek 2 scared me, but neither my dad or I bought it. Shrek 2 causes sleep paralysis, confirmed.
He just hears, "Get out of my swamp!"
Yeah. Oh my god. Leave my swamp, as he closes his eyes.
Oh my god, that's it.
So, for confirmation, Dad asked that I draw a picture of what I saw. As I was drawing, I ran out of black crayon and had to finish his legs with the next darkest color of the crayon box. "Hey there, Mr. Brownstick Legs," my dad said as I handed him the drawing. "You leave my daughter alone now, you hear?" So that's where the name came from.
Good dad.
Yeah. This is how my sleep paralysis demon ended up with the name Mr. Brownstick Legs. Makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
Giving him a silly name helped take some of the edge off of going to bed the following night. My dad even did a sweep of the room, calling out for him. "Here, Mr. Brownstick's legs," he said, whistling as if he were calling it a dog. He made me giggle, and the whole episode felt more fun than scary. But once they tucked me in and turned off the light, I felt the dread creeping back in. Darkness hits harder when you expect to find something lurking in the shadows. I don't know how long I searched, but eventually I fell asleep. In the weeks following, I searched for Mr. Brownstick legs every night as I fell asleep. Even when I went to sleepovers, I would do a cursory check in case he tagged along to a friend's house. As time passed, my searches became less frequent. It was a couple months later, the night before the first day of 5th grade, when I woke up to Mr. Brownstick legs straddled over my bed.
She's so little!
Right?
She's so fucking little!
Yeah, it said at the beginning, 10 years old.
Jesus Christ.
So maybe 11 now.
Poor girl.
First day of 5th grade, I woke up to Mr. Brownstick legs straddled over my bed, his empty plate of a face inches from my own. A scream stuck in my throat, coming out sounding like a gush of air releasing from a pool float. "Hush, child," he said. His voice was deep, echoless. I didn't know how he spoke without a mouth, but I heard him nonetheless. I saw that he held a piece of paper on his thin fingers, crumpled on the edges and torn. He held it up to show me.
Don't touch
on the
it.
page was a pink blob with blue dots for eyes and a droll red smile, and 6 lines for legs and arms. It was laying on a blue rectangle. "I found the picture you drew of me, so I drew a picture of you," he said.
No,
"Do you like
burn
it?"
it. Burn it. I burned the picture. I burned the bed. I burned the house. I dunk it in holy water, gasoline, and then proceed to light it all on fire.
I tried nodding, but I couldn't move. I tried answering, but all that came out was the same dry croak sound. "Will you draw another one for me?"
No.
"I so liked the first one you gave me. Pants. I look good in pants."
Oh my god. I'm over this. I don't like
He's
anything.
nice.
I don't care. I don't trust it.
Again,
Anyone that wants free art is sketch. I want to tell you.
he just wants pants. Again, I was unable to respond or move to give him an answer. He must have been able to read my intent because he tucked the picture under my pillow before closing my eyes again. When I woke up in the morning, I bolted upright and tossed my pillow off the bed. My heart leapt into my throat when I found the picture. It wasn't a dream. He was real.
Nope. That's it. That's great. This has been a fun episode. I had a great time recording this.
Oh, we're not even halfway through.
Oh my god. Okay.
I went to my desk and began drawing a picture for him, starting with his face and eyes, trying to capture as much detail as I could remember. I had forgotten all about the first day of school until my mom opened my door and found me still in pajamas. "Lexi," she yelled, startling me as I was coloring his eyes. "Your bus will be here in less than an hour. Get dressed now." I tucked my picture into my school backpack and got dressed. I finished my drawing at recess that day using my brand new Crayola 64 pack. Right?
She was upper class.
I gave him blue pants this time, figuring he'd like to see himself in jeans. I wrote his name, Mr. Brownstick Legs, at the bottom of the picture and drew a smiley face next to it, hoping he'd like his nickname. I flipped the paper over to write him a message on the back. I wanted to ask him questions, but didn't want to anger him since he visited me when I was at my most vulnerable. I wrote out my letter on a separate piece of paper before copying it over to the back of my picture. "Dear Mr. Brownstick Legs," that's your name. "My name is Lexi. I'm in 5th grade. What's your name? How old are you? Do you go to school? Why do you visit my bedroom? Why can't I move when you visit? You look scary, but you also seem nice. I hope we can be friends. Love, Lexi. P.S. I hope you like your blue pants."
Oh my god. It's like, this is like, me as a parent, I would never. Like, I don't trust imaginary
Well, she's doing this at school, so her parents don't quite know.
Okay, you're right. I'm just...
Yeah. I added another smiley face at the end of the letter, my final emphasis on wanting to be friends. I considered closing with sincerely, but I figured love was better. Friendlier. I tucked the picture under my pillow that night, how anxious to see him rather than filled with dread of his reappearance. But like the last time, he didn't return the next day, or the day after. The days stretched into weeks, and every morning I found the picture tucked under my pillow from the night before. It wasn't until Thanksgiving break that I saw him again. My eyes opened as the morning sun poked through the blinds of my bedroom. His body didn't look any different in the light. In fact, his black skin seemed darker, absorbing the sun's rays without giving any back. His eyes seemed
Nope.
wider than before. If he had a mouth, I would have figured he was smiling. In his slender fingers was the picture I drew for him. "Hello, Lexi," he said. "Thank you for the picture. I do look good in blue pants." I wanted to smile, but well, sleep paralysis. He flipped the picture over to the side with my letter. "I will answer your questions best I can. I do not have a name, not one you could ever pronounce, but I am happy for you to call me Mr. Brownsteak Legs. As for my age, I exist outside of your construct of time, therefore I am ageless. I do not go to school, nor do I know what school is. Why do I visit you? I visit to feed on the energy of your soul."
There it is. That's
There
it.
it is.
That's it. Oh my god.
My breath quickened as a mute groan exited my teeth. I wanted to run, wanted to get away from him, but I was pinned down, unable to move. He sensed my uneasiness and tried to calm me by patting my forehead. This giant demon, like, there.
It's like, I'm here to take your energy.
Yeah.
It's there. It's
Have
okay.
you seen Demon Slayer?
Yes, I have.
When I think it's like the second or third episode, when she walks up to, I forget who it was, but like he's scared because she's a demon, and then she like pats him on the head and like smiles. And he's like, "What?"
She's the cutest. I adore her. Okay.
That's what I'm picturing, except longer and scarier.
Yeah.
He sensed my uneasiness and tried calming me by patting me on the forehead. "Let me explain. Have you been to the ocean? It appears vast, almost limitless, as you stare into the blue water, with no visible land on the other side." In my mind, I was standing on a beach. I felt the salty ocean breeze against my face as I looked out over the massive body of water. The waves crashed at my feet. Excuse me. I felt the rush of water over them, followed by a trickle of sand and pebbles as the water drew back. "Your soul is like an ocean, child. Vast, limitless, undefinable by words to your understanding. I take only a sip, a single glass of water from a vast ocean. I am not one who could consume the entire ocean." Dark clouds formed over the water as I stared at the white-capped waves. The clouds unleashed a heavy downpour, turning the horizon gray as rain fell from the sky over the ocean. Just as the rain falls over the ocean, your soul can replenish itself by more than I could ever consume. Not even in 1,000 of your years. Does that make you feel better?
No, it does not.
But it's thousands of years. Like, you're fine.
I don't care. This isn't a consensual thing. It was done without my consent, so no.
Well, here it is. On the beach in my mind's vision, I nodded. In my bedroom, he nodded back to me. "Good. As for your last question, why you cannot move, we are meeting at a point outside of your time, where your world and mine touch. Your physical body cannot move. But if you persist, you can learn to speak to me with your mind, and I will answer your questions in exchange for your drawings. You can draw pictures of whatever you like. I want to know more of your world." In my mind, I nodded again.
Oh my god, I am so over this. The one day I can't have a drink.
This is his redemption arc, though. This knowledge is a gift, so we can understand one another more. I am not one who would hurt you. He pressed his fingertips to my eyelids again, closing them. In my mind's eye, I was still on the beach, but the sun was setting and the stars were visible through the rain. I drifted back to sleep to the sound of falling rain. The next morning, I asked my parents for a sketchbook and colored pencils. They tried to hold off until Christmas, but since I spent most of my afternoons and weekends drawing pictures up in my room, Dad let me open one of my gifts a week early. A Strathmore sketchbook with 100 pages and a 50-pack of Crayola colored pencils.
Oh my god.
Wow. I started by drawing. Go ahead.
The parent to see the sketchbook of this nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
I could never.
I'm assuming she's not showing them at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
I started by drawing the rest of my family. Mom, Dad, my little brother, our cat Libby, and even though he had died, our dog Pancakes. Next, I drew our house, then our car, then my school. I kept drawing anything I could think of, trees, birds, insects, until my sketchbook was full. I used my allowance to purchase more books so I could keep drawing. I honed my craft, redoing my earlier drawings in great detail. My thoughts considered his wording. I am not one who could consume an entire ocean. I wanted to ask him if there were those who could, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to know these things. Mr. Brownstick Legs didn't return until my freshman year of high school, so this is 4 years later.
Oh, weird. Okay.
To him, it wasn't like any time had passed. I read up on lucid dreaming and the time between visits so that when he returned, I would be able to be better capable of talking to him. He held my book in his hands, flipping through my drawings, dotting over increased refinement of my drawing skills. I had filled dozens of sketch pads and upgraded from Crayola to Prismacolor Premier pencils for my drawings.
Oh, those are nice colored pencils, you guys. Those are like they draw so smooth.
Yeah.
So smooth.
His biggest surprise was when, after he complimented my drawings, I spoke to him. "Thank you," I said, seeing the words in my mind as I spoke them aloud. If he had a surprised expression, his eyes showed it. "You have been very busy, child," he said. "Do you have any questions you would like to ask?" I hesitated, but finally formed my words in my mind. "Are there creatures who can consume the entire ocean?" He didn't respond right away, which made me think I had not asked properly. I asked him a second time. He put a finger to my lips as if to shush me. "There are those who can. They are known as the Dark Ones. They are capable of consuming entire souls, emptying them out, leaving them dry and barren. You should not fear them, but you should also not provoke them."
Ah, cool. Okay. Now, a demon is telling me there's a worse demon.
Yeah.
Lovely.
His eyes curved downwards as if concerned or afraid. "What do they look like?" I asked. In my mind, my visions were filled with images of great, terrible creatures. Spiders taller than the Empire State Building, on thin, spindly legs of shadows and smoke. Tentacled monsters in the sea, lofting blue whales like they were toys, ripping them to shreds with the curved, chitinous beaks. Sounds like the Kraken. Great, ghastly, flying creatures that knocked over orchids and forests with the beat of their leathery wings. "I showed you only because you asked," Mr. Brown Sticklegs said. "But it is best we don't talk about them or think about them. Let them be." I nodded in my mind. He leaned forward and pressed his plate-like face to my head as if to kiss me on the forehead, which was odd since he didn't have a mouth.
Weird.
Then, as usual, he closed my eyes and I drifted back to sleep. My life took a downturn during the latter years of high school. My dad lost his job, and when his search for a new one dragged on, he turned to drinking to cope with his failure. He wasn't abusive, but he wasn't fun to be around. In the months following, my parents would hush their arguing when I entered the room, greeting me with smiles as if nothing were wrong. That lasted only until the day I came home from school to them fighting over a foreclosure notice from the bank. We moved out over the weekend from our home into the suburbs to an apartment on the other side of town. I internalized my feelings during that time, withdrew from school and school activities besides the art club, the only one we could still afford. I saw my friends driving to school and hanging out while I rode the bus, too poor and too far away to join in.
Aw, poor baby.
Yeah. My taste began to change as well. Out was the bubblegum pop of Katy Perry, Kesha, and Taylor Swift. Instead, I listened to Pierce the Veil, Sleeping with Sirens, Bring Me the Horizon. My clothes and makeups became darker. More black t-shirts and skirts with black eyeliner and black fingernail polish. Mom called it my goth phase. We've all been there.
Listen, everyone has a moment, and then you get adulthood and you find the beauty of Kesha and Bring Me the Horizon on the same day. And it's very beautiful.
True. My drawings became darker too. I moved from colored pencils to charcoal, drawing skulls and gothic-looking cemeteries as my passion for drawing animals and flowers waned. I also drew the dark ones in great detail, exactly how I remembered them in my mind's eye.
Oh, gross.
Mr. Brownstick Legs visited me again a month after we moved into the apartment. He looked more at home in my room of blacklight posters and death metal bands than he did in my previous room. His eyes were dim, not the vibrant red as they were before. He stared at me as I lay in bed, unable to move. He moved inches from my face as I heard his words in my mind. Your soul tastes different now.
It's called puberty. Okay.
He didn't speak of my drawings. I worried that he might, especially since I'd been drawing the dark ones. Not only drawing them, but thinking about them and what type of damage they could do if they were to wake. He seemed sad for me, although reading his expression was difficult with no face. He patted my forehead like before, but did not close my eyes, leaving as he used to. My life continued its spiraling path like a bottle rocket with a broken stick. My parents didn't talk outside of short conversations about which bills to pay and which ones to ignore. Each night, Dad disappeared into a bottle while Mom disappeared into online chat with male Facebook friends she knew from high school. The thing about rock bottom is that it's often a disguise for a trapdoor that drops you to an even lower depth you never thought possible. The first bottom came when my dad died, drove off the road into a gravel pit late at night with an empty bottle of bourbon in the passenger seat. I cried, but it felt hollow. It felt hollow even when Mom tried to hold me. I felt nothing inside, not sadness, not guilt, not anything. It's sad.
Yeah, this is heavy. I don't have any funny commentary.
We're almost there. I disappeared into my sketchbooks, drawing even darker, more disturbing images. Death, dismemberment, vividly accurate vivisections, not sure what that is, of cute animals I used to enjoy drawing. My friends no longer talked to me, which was fine because I didn't want to talk to them anymore. I found people to hang out with, not friends, but people who could get me across the moments of chemical-induced euphoria. I forgot about life for a while.
Aww, poor.
Just like that, the trapdoor opened, dropping me to a new rock bottom of addiction, the one thing I had in common with my dad. But instead of falling into a bottle, I fell into a needle. I stole money from my mom's purse to feed my habits. Not that she noticed, but she was busy with her old Facebook friends who had moved from online acquaintances to sleepover companions. When the time came for my senior year, I didn't bother going back. I kept drawing, filling entire sketchbooks with dark images that reflected my bleak outlook on life. The dark ones were prevalent subjects during this period of my life. I drew them feasting on humanity, raking flesh from the bone and their jagged teeth lips of smoke. I came home one night to find my mom and her new male friend in the middle of a fight. It was different from her fights with Dad, more violent and more physical. When he raised his hand at me for trying to intervene, I decided it was time to bolt. Where am I? I left home, hitching rides from anyone with a set of wheels I could manage to put up with for a short period of time. My preference leaned toward those with access to chemical releases I craved. The more I could numb, the more I could escape. I found drug combinations had similar effects to sleep paralysis, where my mind's ability to control my body's actions became severed. In those moments of numbed paralysis, I'd see Mr. Brownstick Legs watching from afar as I dulled the pain. I saw what I perceived as the dark ones too, but they were hiding in the shadows like Mr. Brownstick Leg Man did.
Ah, no, sorry. We're done. That's it. Don't hear it.
They were the shadows. I called out to them as well, for in those moments I wanted nothing more than to be hollowed out and empty. A void so no dark, no pain could ever penetrate it. When they didn't answer, I called out to Mr. Brownstick Legs, but he would vanish every time. Perhaps it was just a drug-fueled hallucination. Overdosing was never my intention. I was pushing too much, trying to find the edge of the void after feeling so low. So very low, searching for that something extra to filter out the background noise. I took it too far, giving myself a near-lethal dose. At one moment, I was lying next to strangers on a stained mattress in an abandoned warehouse. Then came to the initial rush of euphoric bliss, and then nothing. Whoever I was traveling with at the time dumped me on the curb in front of the ER, making me someone else's problem.
God.
This was my rock bottom moment, although at the time it felt more like a free fall. I spent 3 weeks in a coma. I was aware of my surroundings, but could hear the doctors and nurses as they checked my vitals and tended to my cleanliness and upkeep, but I could not speak.
God.
At the end of the 3rd week in the ICU, on an incubator, I looked to find Mr. Brown's thick legs hovering over me, his round eyes peering through the darkness. "What have you done to yourself, child?" His voice spoke inside my mind. In my mind, I was beside him, standing in the middle of a vast salt desert. The ground was cracked and dry, in a hexagonal pattern that stretched in all directions.
Oh, okay.
Here it is. "This is your soul now, nothing left to drink." I heard the beep of my heart rate monitor back in the hospital room speed up as fear entered my mind. I called out to the dark ones, I said. I asked them to come. They emptied me out. They emptied my soul. "No, my child, you did this. You have not replenished, you have only consumed, and now nothing remains." I dropped to my knees in the middle of the salt as I felt a rumbling deep inside the hollow pit of my stomach. I leaned forward into my arms, but they were no longer my arms. They were pitch black and empty. I could feel them, but then when I looked at them, they were empty voids of smoke and shadows. I stood up on my legs, but they were no longer my legs. The darkness swirled up my torso and down my arms. The emptiness inside me consumed my entire body until only my head remained. What's happening to me? I heard the snap as my arms and legs split, forming 8 black, spindly legs.
Nope.
I collapsed onto them, unable to support myself. Mr. Brownstick Legs glided down in front of my face, his eyes inches from my own. "As I told you, child, only the Dark Ones have the ability to consume an entire ocean of a soul. That is your fate. That is what you will become."
No.
Back in my room, Back in the room, my heart rate monitor crashed to a flat line. I felt the cold darkness swirl up my neck to the head as the void consumed me. I was aware of the nurse and the doctors huddled around my body, preparing the crash cart, but all I felt was the cold consuming of what was left of me. "Help me," I uttered. My physical body jolted from the electric paddles, but I felt nothing, only the cold darkness. A needle injected into my IV line as they recharged for another burst of electricity. Still, I felt nothing. Only cold, only darkness, only the vast emptiness of the void. Mr. Brownstick Legs tilted his head as he stared through his unblinking red eyes. He leaned forward, pressing his plate-like face to my forehead. I felt a vibration against my skin, followed by a tingling sensation of heat returning. The darkness receded down my arms and legs. As he pulled back, his red eyes had diminished. A gift for the girl who gave me pants.
Aww.
A tear formed in my eye. It rolled down my cheek and fell onto the parched landscape below. Before I could say anything, an electric jolt coursed in my body, pulling me away from the salt flat expanse and back to the hospital room. The sinus rhythm of my heart rate monitor returned to normal. I felt the cool gel of the defibrillator paddles against my chest. I remember squeezing the hand of one of the attending nurses who smiled down at me. "Well, look who's awake." I cried, but it was different before. I felt the pain I had long been avoiding, but I felt something else as well. I felt grateful, and I felt a sense of hope that I hadn't known in a long time. It was a long road back from the darkness, but the thing about the road to recovery is that, like a road, it leads to a destination. After years of listless drifting towards the void, having a destination was an important first step in finding self-love.
Aww.
I reconnected with my mother, who was struggling with her own form of darkness. We leaned on one another, talking and going to therapy as we worked through issues that drove us apart. After my release from the hospital, I moved back home with her. Her Facebook friend, long ago, gone. I got my GED and used my mini sketchbook as portfolio to get into an apprenticeship at a tattoo parlor.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I've been clean for 4 years now, and it feels good to smile again. Granted, I still prefer Pierce the Veil to anything from Katy Perry's catalog. Oh, sorry, one sec. Pause. I've been clean for 4 years now, and it feels good to smile again. Granted, I still prefer Pierce the Veil to anything from Katy Perry's catalog. Why do I keep getting lost? I often think about the vision with Mr. Brownstick legs on the salt flats that night in the hospital. I had not seen him since that night, and I often wonder about the state of my soul since that day. Has it replenished, or is it still dried up, barren wasteland that he took me to that night? Last night, around 3 a.m, I finally got my answer. I woke up with a heaviness on my chest, arms and legs. At first, I felt the grips of fear grabbing hold, much like the first time I experienced it. But then in the dark corner of my room, I saw glowing red eyes staring back at me from the shadows. In spite of my sleep paralysis, I couldn't help but smile when I heard his voice call out to me, "Child, your soul tastes better now."
Oh my god. I hated all of that. Jesus. Okay.
So that's the closest to a Mare story I could find. It took a couple dark turns.
A couple?
But yeah. So
a couple? Jesus.
Just one or
that was
two.
like those burn books we'd read in high school.
Yeah. I forgot to show the slide, but
oh, cool! And now there's a nightmare image.
I'll edit it in. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Oops. Oh no, go back.
Well, that was a lot to take in. Mares are absolutely terrifying creatures.
Yeah.
Addiction
maybe
is so
the Mare
hard.
is inside
So good
of
for
you
her.
the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, that's how I kind of see it too. But addiction's hard, so kudos to this person and anyone struggling through it. Like, we really just wish you the best and know things get better.
Yeah, I'll put a link to the Reddit page for this person, because it's a pretty recent story. It's really good.
Yeah, no, this is a great job. So kudos to her and for her going through this and telling her story. Absolutely terrifying, but I try to find the glimmer of hope. The idea of how our soul is like an ocean, because like in Demon Slayer, have you seen the movie? Did you watch
Not yet. I'm almost through the first season. There's
a scene, so this isn't spoiling anything. Some people may be like, it is. I don't care. There's a scene where they describe the soul in the same way. So I think that's really pretty. And like, you kind of have to care for it, and how she was looking so hard for it to be a downfall. She was causing it, It wasn't the creature. So that's super interesting to me.
It turns out Mr. Brownstick legs, man, even though taking her soul, not necessarily a bad guy. Let's regular. Just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
That's right.
That's the moral of the story. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, so before we get into our Aloreing alignment compass, a quick announcement. I'm trying to think. Oh my god, we have updated our merch shop with a lot of cool like Halloweeny designs from like our Bloody Mary bottle and our Headless Horseman that are really popular. So check it out. Go support the show. You guys will freaking love it. Like, we've been having fun making all this stuff. So check it out and support the show and wear cool folklore merch. Oh, and look, Ryan is marketing his Aloreing hat. I don't have any Aloreing apparel on because I need to do laundry because I've been sick for 5 days. But we have like crop top sweaters with Bloody Mary on it. It's really cool. So that's been really fun. Thank you guys for all your continued support. That's why we've been able to take time. Ryan will send me ideas for stuff and I make it, so it's all us doing our own thing. So you're supporting our art too, so that's cool stuff. Okay, that was my only positive thing after that really heavy segment let's go
Yeah,
to
it got heavy today.
it got heavy. Okay.
Here's something
Let's
less
go to
heavy.
our yeah. Let's go to our Aloreing lineman chart. So wow, okay.
This is
I
a
will start.
first.
This is a first. I considered them lawful evil because they seem to have rules that they have to follow. Like, they have to enter a certain way, or if it's like this, they have to do something else instead. So they're always sitting on a person's chest. So
Yeah.
I considered them pretty evil and pretty lawful. I didn't put them as good, even though they are sexy women. So,
Yeah, very surprising. I put them in the middle of lawful and chaotic because the story didn't
yeah.
really give like a set of rules that he has necessarily. Because in
Yeah.
his whole spiel was like, I don't exist in your world, so I don't know if laws exist. But I put him dead center because
Yeah.
he's kind of saved this girl, but at the same time he's also drinking her soul.
Right.
So, like, he cared about this girl because she drew him pictures and stuff. But what this isn't the only person he's drinking.
What if you couldn't draw? What if you just had a
Yeah,
podcast?
yeah,
Then-
exactly. Yeah, what do? I can't draw to save my life. So that's why I
have-
put him in the middle.
Yeah. Well, I
I'd
think
probably
we
push
could
him
kind
a
of
little
be
over to
in
the
the
right
middle.
to be good. Yeah.
Yeah. Just because there's so much unknown.
Yeah.
And it's
There's
like-
so many variations of these things. It's really hard to say.
Yeah, there's so many questions a 10-year-old girl can think of
Yeah.
while experiencing great fear.
True.
So, oh, well. Anyway, you guys, that was heavy one. What's a good takeaway? Hang mistletoes above your bed
Hang
to kiss a
mistletoes above your
mare.
bed. Take care of yourself. I think that's good.
And that's good. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been Aloreing.
You have an alluring day, and I'll catch you in the next episode.
Bye. Bye.